Hey Tim Gill, it's Mike Kai in Cleveland, Ohio. Say, I saw your Facebook post about you wanted to see other people's engine controls, carry-throughs through the firewall and all that. So I had the cowling off. I was doing some maintenance, and I would like to make a short video. And if you have trouble getting to sleep, just turn this video on. You'll be out like a light in no time. So all of my cables and carry-throughs and all that, probably much like yours, come through, and Adele clamps and all that to go to the firewall. And I don't know if you can see much. There's my fuel line, fuel shut off. Here's the front throttle, and pretty simple. And then on the firewall side, I did pretty much like you're doing. There was only one spot where I used one of those doohickeys, and so most of them, like this is the throttle Bowden cable comes through here, but it's secured here. There's like an aquarium tube or a Tygon tubing around it, then a tie wrap, simple tie wrap. What else is coming through here? My P leads, magneto leads, or what do you call it? Yeah, P leads to ground the magnetos from the ignition switch. This is something Tony Bengelis talks about, where you ground the engine to the motor mount, just so that the rubbers here don't isolate the two metals. This bonding, this braided line, makes the whole thing grounded, I guess. I don't know. So I did it. So let's see, what else do we have here? Tachometer cable, just a rubber grommet there, a little rubber around the, what is this, oil pressure line, and a grommet, a little more rubber. This is a carburetor heat cable. And on things like, carburetor heat cable, I just use Teflon sheet. You can use the top of a coffee can lid, tie wraps. Here's my oil breather tube. Just tie wrapped, really, and those get brittle, so you have to replace them every couple of years with the heat. But not bad, overall. What else? What else can I show you? The throttle. The throttle has some movement here. These things, I guess, if they fall apart, Bengelis says the bearing in there, if it falls apart, the bolt can come through somehow, or this can go through. So you put a little washer on there, a little Loctite on these, acetone, isopropyl, something on there first, so the Loctite holds those two nuts from coming apart. Throttle back to idle. And what else? I wanted to show you something else. Yeah, just I welded in a couple of these like little 4130 channels to hold things like my cables and that, but it didn't, it worked out in some cases it did. Like here, there's a little what do you call that? A saddle. That's it, a saddle. A little rubber tube around to prevent the itching and chafing. So, not the classiest video you'll ever see. So let's see what else. Here, the firewall is held on. I know you have a little bit different firewall configuration, but I copied Frank Pavliga's firewall so the firewall bends over the fabric. Then these are just 4130 with a stainless rod welded to it, screwed right to the wood upright in there. There's 4 of them, pins to hold the cowling on. Just drilled out for a cotter pin, and then a leather washer glued, just leather. Used rubber cement, what do you call it? Contact cement. Sanded the washer, wiped it down with acetone, and then used rubber cement to glue the leather to the washer, so it's an anti-chafing deal there. And then the cowling, the cowling's all floppy. I mean, it is lightweight and thin, and it goes all over the place. But boy, once you get it hung on these pins, it really rigidizes everything. And each of the holes I riveted a washer to, so that they don't get elongated. So I'm going to put the cowling on and then get back, try to turn the video off, pause the video, as it were. So this, as you can see, just goes over, and see if I can do this without dropping the camera. Or the phone. So you just put the leather washer deal over that, and then put one of these, I don't know what these are called, hairpins? something. They're not a cotter pin, obviously, but then latch that. So that really holds the cowling on very nicely. Here, this is what on the inside there is a riveted aluminum piano hinge, and so on that side, see the opposite of that, and then that mates up with a couple of pins to this. So the top half of that deal, where is it? There it is. Top half of that is there, and then there's some tape on there for chafing. There's a couple points where things were chafing, so I glued a little leather on, and that's how I, riveted. Again, all from the Tony Bengelis books. So this flops on the top. Stop the video again. But before I do that, I wanted to show you, these tabs are super simple. They just have floating nut plates on them. Just 3 tabs hold it on, just screwed to the firewall. Floating nut plates. Nothing much to it. So anyway, that's it. It's pretty much an overview. The cowling goes on top, and then these pins go in to secure it. And then the 2 halves secure with floating nut plates as well back there. So I think that's it. I don't want to bore you much more. We're already going on 6.5 minutes. And that's it. So hope you're doing good. I hope your dog is doing good. I hope Jelani's doing good with her recovery from her gallbladder surgery. Carrie had that a couple years ago, and what a godsend that was. She doesn't get any more gallbladder attacks, which they appear to be extremely awful experiences. So that's it. Take care.